What's up, everybody? Mobby13. Okay, this should be the final update, the final video on my PlayStation 1 PSX graphics emulation 3D file viewer program app. Okay, so here we have Crash. Now, Crash is finally corrected. What we had some issues with culling, and we had some issues with our part of our shader not working or whatever. So Crash wasn't showing correct and satisfactory. But now we see Crash, and so we're in modern graphics view. Kind of coming in here, you can see. Now let's go ahead and flip over to PlayStation graphics. Okay, boom. And now we have a lot of stuff going on that makes it look like PlayStation graphics. So one thing I fixed is that we can put a low frame rate. If we look at it, we can actually get a look here and see how it's chugging along. Fast frame rate, low frame rate, and we can put it at approximately the PlayStation level of frame rate. Okay, we're seeing that. We're seeing the textures correctly moving on the model. We're seeing the math that causes the interesting calculations to occur. So now this program has become a little more sophisticated, and we applied some sophisticated things to it. So now I'm going to go ahead and load a different model. Here's something new. What we did is we decided to put a PlayStation within your PlayStation so that you could PlayStation while you PlayStation. So here we have a 3D model. Let's go ahead and flip over to modern graphics so you could see the model that we're looking at, and we're looking at a limited frame rate. We could smooth that right out, right? And you could see the model is there, although without lighting, it just shows very uniform, right? Let's go ahead and take a little look at our model through the wireframe functions and stuff, helpers. So now you could see how the 3D model is existing, how it is created of polygons, and it's showing that. We can go ahead and just take away the textures now, and you can see the very cool ghost. This is like the bones, right? This is like the wireframe, how we create all of that 3D surface, right? We can go ahead and, of course, change our very cool coloration, whatever we want to do. We can show the PlayStation in any color we want. Another thing we can do is we can show the textures at the same time, and we could choose to do this black or some lighter gray, or we can, of course, go white, and all these different colors of the rainbow, right? Very nice, very nice. So here we are back. Now we can just kind of show a little bit of this. Let's go ahead and slow things down. Um, and let's slow the rotation down a little bit. Okay, and then let's put PlayStation graphics on, and you could see how low res that looks. You could see what the PlayStation could do, but we can actually check and uncheck the options. Now, that's our PlayStation right there. Go ahead and look at that. All right, very low res. Let's go back to full view, modern view. Okay, now let's open up our other model. Now we have a car model. Okay, let's put unlimited frames, non-restricted frame rate. Sorry for flying around like this. Just have to get there. For some reason, our wheels are not showing. Everything else seems to show. So this may be a little subtle thing. I haven't checked the model to see if the model itself is correct in terms of that. There is a wheel inside of the car. You can see that right there. We could see that anyway. Good enough for demonstration purposes, right? So here's our 3D model in full view. You can see that it's kind of like a cell shaded style model. And so the sophistication comes in that we're actually applying the textures to the model. So our models come in three formats. It could be the .obj, or I think it's .glb, or the what is it? The dot. Let me see if I can. GLTF, I think it is, right? Um, That's our other option for models. Okay, so now we can go ahead and do the fun stuff. Let's look at a PlayStation version of this car, and we could see now that we have interesting, funny, fuzzy, dancing lines on the car. We can do all the things. We can take all the PlayStation effects away, and now we could just see a low res car. The vertex snapping definitely makes something interesting. We have some dithering and coloring that kind of is very interesting. We could see that with and without dithering and with and without 15-bit color depth. And this makes it pretty interesting and cool to look at. And that's basically my demo. Let's go ahead and look at the wireframe. We can see the wireframe of a car. Always kind of cool, interesting to see that, isn't it? Let's just look at the wireframe only. And of course, you want to see this in a modern, because when you see it with the low res, this actually has a lot of stuff going on there, right? A lot of polygons there. So let's go do it in white, like you would expect. Not a blinding white. Back to PlayStation and back to modern, and of course we can adjust a lot of other stuff. Let's see if we can put a grid. We have some now the grid option. Again, this program has been updated. I could see the grid there. Just got to make the grid large. Grid is kind of like the floor of the model, right? And we could adjust the spacing of the grid so it makes sense. And it's actually got to go a little bit down, I guess. Let's actually go down to the right level. Playing with it. There you go. Now you have a floor under the model, which is kind of nice to see. Now let's just show the model normal with the grid. There it is. We have a ground underneath the car, so it's kind of helpful for your bearings and looking at the model. Thanks for checking it out. Hope you enjoyed that. Peace.